clerk will now proceed to read the orders of the day.
Lords Spiritual Women Act 2015 Extension Bill, Lords Committee.
Order. Order.
Lords Spiritual Women Act 2015 Extension Bill, Lords.
Debate will take place on the question that Clause 1 stand part, together with the question that Clause 2 stand part. I remind members that as we are in committee, members should not address the Chair as Deputy Speaker. Please use our names when addressing the Chair. Madam Chair, Chair or Madam Chairman are also acceptable. The question is that Clause 1 stand part of the bill. Abena Oppong-Asare.
It's a pleasure to serve under your chairship, Madam Chair, as I open this committee of the whole House. As I said at second reading, this is a straightforward bill with only one substantive clause and a singular aim to extend by 5 years the provisions agreed by this House in the Lords Spiritual Women's Act 2015. It will mean that vacancies amongst the Law Spiritual will continue to be filled by the most senior eligible female bishop at this time, if there is one in post in preference to the most senior male bishop. This government has introduced this bill at the request of the Church of England, as was the case in 2015. As we witnessed at the second reading debate on this bill last month, this bill has widespread cross-party support, and I'm pleased that the spirit of cooperation has continued. I note that there has been no amendments tabled to frustrate, challenge or change the aim of this bill from honourable members. Let me address each of the two clauses in turn, Madam Chair. The purpose of Clause 1 is to extend by an additional 5 years the arrangements made by the 2015 Act. Without this clause, the arrangements in this Act will cease to have effect on the 17th of May 2025. This bill has been adduced to extend the provisions until 18th of May 2030. Clause 2 sets out an extent, commencement and short title of the bill. And there we are, Madam Chair. It is clear that this bill commands a broad consensus, and I'm grateful to colleagues for this approach to the piece of legislation. I very much look forward to the rest of the debate today and seeing this bill on the statute book soon.
Hear, hear.
Holden.
Thank you very much indeed, Madam Chairman, for calling us to speak today. Again, a privilege to speak on this bill. As the Minister has outlined, the purpose of extending the Lords Spiritual Women's Act 2015 by another 5 years, this bill does exactly what it says on the tin. It's very quick and straightforward. I note that the Church of England introduced its own legislation in 2014 to allow for the ordination of women bishops, and therefore this comes from that. Obviously, when it was introduced in 2015, that was under the last government, and we look forward to seeing its progress through quickly today. Overall, the Act has been successful in ensuring that women have a fair chance of sitting alongside their male counterparts in the other place as one of the Lords Spiritual, and 5 of the 6 women bishops were appointed under the provisions of the 2015 Act, showing that we have progressed from then. And when further bishops retire, will give more opportunities for even more women to progress, depending on the situation in each eligible diocese. And I think it's good for our Parliament to continue to push that forwards. I just asked the Minister, do they foresee another 5-year extension to this bill? I noted that when it was first introduced, it was a 10-year extension. And perhaps you could just speak to us a little bit about that at the end. And also, how many does the Minister, how many appointments will she feel that perhaps when the Act will just become redundant in and of itself in the future? Thank you very much.
Minister.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to thank the opposition spokesperson for his comments. I just want to say, in relation to the issues that he's raised and whether the government looks at extending it past the 5 years, We would review the situation at that time. As the opposition knows, we are honouring what the Church of England has asked us to do. I also want to say that in reflection, this Act has received royal assent, and we have seen 6 female bishops take their seats earlier than they otherwise would have done. So we'll have to review and see what happens with the extension of the 5 years. And as outlined in the second reading, we are about to see the value of this legislation in action again with the Lords Spiritual, and will shortly welcome Debbie Cillian, the Bishop of Peterborough, to their benches. And as you can see, there are already benefits of these measures in this bill that we are still seeing being felt today. So we believe this extension will be positive, and we hope to see what comes out of it. So thank you.
The question is that Clause 1 stand part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary, no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is that Clause 2 stand part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary, no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Order, order. The question is that I do report the bill to the House. The question is that I do report the bill to the House. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary, no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Order, order. Order. Whip to report.
I beg to report that the committee has gone through the bill and directs me to report the same without amendment.
Under the order of 14th of November, we shall now move to third reading of the bill.
Now.
King's consent? Yes. Minister to move third reading.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I should say, first of all, what a remarkably efficient committee stage that was across the House. And in that tradition that's now been set, I will keep my own remarks brief. Madam Deputy Speaker, this is a bill that will continue the positive effects that have been seen from the 2015 Act for a further 5 years. And the 2015 Act followed the very welcome decision made the year before by the Church of England to allow women to be ordained as bishops, and the legislation passed the following year began to allow ordained women bishops to enter the other place as Lords Spiritual earlier than otherwise would have been the case. Now, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank all the officials who've worked on this bill for their support to myself, and indeed to my honourable friend, the member for Erith and Thamesmead, as well as to my right honourable friend, the Leader of the House, in the other place. I'd also like to give thanks to all those who spoke at the second reading debate, and indeed today, honourable members for Stockport, Newcastle under Lyme, as well as the honourable lady from Richmond Park, and indeed the shadow Paymaster General today, who showed that wonderful talent for being succinct in terms of the passage of this bill. And in all seriousness, I would like to put on record my thanks for the spirit, actually, in which the official opposition has approached the bill, for which we are very grateful. I should also give particular thanks to my honourable friend, the member for Battersea, in her position as the second Church Estates Commissioner. Now, back in 2015, when this bill was passed, the father of the House, actually, the Right Honourable Member for Gainsborough, described the 2015 bill and, as I quote, unopposable. And I'm pleased to say that nearly a decade later, that sentiment continues to ring true. So I commend this bill to the House.
The question is that the bill be now read the third time. Richard Holden.
Thank you very much indeed, Madam Deputy Speaker. I'd like to thank the Honourable the Paymaster General for the spirit in which he's spoken today, as well as the entire bill team behind this. And I think we should let matters rest there and let the bill proceed as quickly as possible.
Olney.
Thank
Thank you, Madam Chair. I and my Liberal Democrat colleagues are supportive of the extension of this legislation and its ambition to make our second chamber a more equal and representative place. I'm glad to see this legislation move so swiftly through Parliament, and I plan to play my part in that. We're glad of the intention of this bill in addressing the stark gender imbalance which currently exists amongst our Lords Spiritual. We're supportive of this aim and welcome steps to ensure that Parliament better reflects the country it serves. Thank you, Madam Chair.
The question is that the bill be now read the third time. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary, no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it.